Very often we will come across many problems wherein our equation of statics or equation of equilibrium will not be sufficient to find the forces in the member. So in that case, what we will be doing is we will be looking at the nature of the deformation, how deformation occurs in those problems, and then we'll form one more extra equation, or we will form extra equations which will be called as compatibility equations. And then with the help of the equations developed from equation of equilibrium and equation of compatibility equation, we will solve those set of equations to find the forces in the member. Now, what are indeterminate structures? Indeterminate structures are those structures in which the number of unknowns, or the number of unknowns in terms of forces, will be more than the number of equations which will be available with us. Those equations which will be developing with using equations of statics. So in that case, what we will do, since the number of unknown forces are more, we will frame more equations using compatibility condition or compatibility equation. So the problems in which the number of unknowns will be more than the number of equations, those kind of problems will be called as indeterminate structure. So let us try to understand more about this indeterminate structures by solving some examples. So this is a first kind of very simple indeterminate structure, wherein we have a bar AB which is rigidly fixed at its both ends A and B. It is subjected to say forces of 30 kilonewton and forces of 60 kilonewton at the faces of C and D. Now in this case, what we need to find is, we need to find what? We need to find the reactions at the two ends. We need to find reactions at the two ends, and then we also need to find stresses and the change in length in each portion. So if I just try to find what are the unknown forces here at these two locations, basically we can remove this reaction forces. We can remove those reactions by showing the reaction forces at those two places, and we can show them very well, those reaction forces, as Ra and Rb. But in this case, what will happen is that, since we will be having only one equation from the equations of equilibrium, and which is that equation, we can only apply here summation of forces in x direction equal to 0. If this is our x and y direction, I can only use this equation here for this problem. I cannot use summation of forces in y direction equal to 0, because there are no forces which are acting in y direction, so I cannot use this equation. This other equation is summation of moment equal to 0. Now since all the forces are passing through one same line, even I cannot use this, so only equation which I have is this. So with one equation we cannot find the two unknowns or the two reactions in this member, so this approach will not work here in this case. That is why we will also require, along with this equation, we will also require to use the compatibility condition, or we will have to frame the equation by looking at the nature of deformation in this problem. So this is basically what we will be looking in this problem, how to solve the problems when they are indeterminate, when we have indeterminate structures. Okay, so what I will do is, I will draw first this, uh, I will try to draw the free body diagram of this each segment. Now for example, I have here first segment AC. So if I draw this first segment AC, I have here a reaction force which will be acting at this face A, and let that reaction be in this direction. I'm not sure at present in which direction exactly this reaction will be on this phase. It totally depends on how the forces are acting here. So what I will say is, I'll just say that the reaction may be acting in this direction. So initially I will assume this direction for the reaction at this A. Now since there is a reaction of R here this side, for the equilibrium to occur in this segment, we know that irrespective of what forces are acting, their summation should always, it should come to R, so that there will be equilibrium in this segment AC. Now similarly, if I draw now the segment CD, if I draw this segment CD, in this case, now what will be the forces? Since now the 30 kilonewton is acting in this direction, and if I, and then we said that there is R force which is also acting in this direction. We said that the reaction force is also acting in this direction. We assumed, right? The reaction force will be acting in this direction. Now since 30 kilonewton is acting in this direction and even R is acting in this direction, the net force on this face will be 30 plus R in this direction. 30 plus r in this direction, right? Because on this space we have 30, and beyond this space we have also r which is acting in this direction, right? We assume the direction is this. So the net force on this space will be 30 plus this reaction force r. And in order to maintain the equilibrium of this segment CD, we will have to apply one more force, and we should be also equal to 30 plus r in this direction. Then finally we have this segment DB, and if I draw that segment DB now, if I draw that segment DB, I have here faces D and B. Now the forces on this face will be, there is one force 60 in this direction, so I have minus 60, because 60 is going in negative x direction, right? This is our positive x direction, but 60 is going in the opposite direction to that of x axis, so this will be minus 60. I have plus 30, and then I have what? I have plus r. So ultimately this will come to minus 30 plus r, right? And if I take this minus sign common, if I take this minus sign common, I have here 30 minus r. Now what does this mean? What does this mean that the force is minus? Minus force basically means that the direction of this force is in this direction. So this will be 30 minus r. I hope you have understood what I have done here. Basically, suppose say after doing all this, suppose say I had got the force as minus 40. That means what? That means this minus sign indicates that the 40 force is acting in negative x direction. So similarly, the way I have here this force as minus 30 minus r, that means that the force is basically 30 minus r, but this minus sign indicates that it is acting in the direction opposite to that of our x axis. So similarly, if we want to maintain the equilibrium in this section dB, I will have to apply one more force this side on the face B in the opposite direction of this, and that will be also of the magnitude 30 minus r. Okay, so this is what we get here after applying our equation of equilibrium, that is summation of forces in x direction should be equal to 0. So this is, with this I have got this. Now but what has happened, we still have one force r which is unknown. Now because of that, what we will have to do is, we will have to take the help of now compatibility equation. And what can be the compatibility equation in this problem? Now if I just have a look at this problem, we know that irrespective of what is the deformation that occurs in this individual segment, the net deformation in this body has to be equal to 0. Since they are rigidly fixed at both the ends, irrespective of what is happening in this individual segment, the net deformation in the body or the change in length of this entire body will be 0, because they are rigidly fixed. It can neither get compressed nor it can elongate within this end, from this end A to B. The net deformation has to be 0, and that is exactly what is our compatibility equation here in this case. So the total deformation is 0 in this case. So this is our compatibility equation, right? So what is compatibility equation? By looking at the nature of deformation, we get additional equation which is called as compatibility equation. So here the nature of deformation is such that the total deformation in this case has to be 0. So this is our compatibility equation. Now how we can use this compatibility equation for our case? See here, this total deformation consists of what? Deformation in AC plus deformation in CD plus deformation in DB, right? This deformation DL, this total deformation DL consists of what? Deformation in this each segment AC, CD and DB. So this deformation DL, I have written it as deformation in AB plus CD plus DB, and the total deformation, no matter what are the individual deformations, we know that by compatibility equation that the total deformation must be equal to 0. Okay, so now once we get this compatibility equation, I can substitute here. Now the deformation in each segment will be given as what? We know that the individual deformations are given as PL by AE. So what will be here? P in AC multiplied by length of AC divided by area multiplied by E. Similarly, this will be PO in CD multiplied by L in CD divided by area multiplied by E. Similarly, P in dB multiplied by L in dB divided by area multiplied by E. Now here I have not written this area and E in terms of AC, CD and dB. The reason is the area remains same irrespective of what is the segment, because throughout this bar, how much is the diameter? We have D as 25 mm throughout the bar. So area will also remain same throughout the bar. So I have written here the area same for all the sections. Similarly, E, Young's modulus. Young's modulus is 200 GPa. It is same throughout this bar. So I have just written it as it is, and then we know that finally this sum should come to 0. All right. Now, how much is force in section AC? The force in section AC is just the R, reaction force. So I have to write this as R multiplied by L of AC. How much is length of AC? Length of AC is given as 275 mm. So let me write this as 275 divided by A multiplied by E. Now, how much is force CD? In CD, the force in CD is 30 plus R. But here please observe the direction. Even in this case, we have to observe the direction. This force R and this 30 plus R, they are compressive in nature, right? This is compressive in nature. Even this is compressive in nature, but this is tensile in nature. So therefore, we will be adopting one more sign convention. That is, we will call all our compressive loads as negative, whereas we will call all our tensile loads as positive. We'll call all our tensile loads as positive. So this is just the sign convention which we'll be following and nothing else. We will call compressive loads as negative and tensile loads as positive. Now this R is basically a compressive load on this segment AC. So I have to write this as minus R. Similarly, this is again a compressive load. So P in load in CD is a compressive load. So I will have to indicate this as minus 30 plus R multiplied by length of CD. How much is length of CD? It is 150 divided by area multiplied by E, plus how much is force in dB? Force in dB is 30 minus R, and that is tensile in nature. So I can just leave it like this, multiplied by how much is the length of dB? It is 375 divided by area multiplied by E, and this should be equal to 0. Now from here, I hope you will have followed how we have written this equation. Now from here we get to know that this term A multiplied by E, they are common everywhere, right? So I can just neglect them. I can just multiply this entire equation by A multiplied by E, and then I can just remove this. Okay. So what remains with me now here is I have this minus R multiplied by 275 minus R multiplied by 275, which I can also write it as 275 times R, and then here I have minus 30 multiplied by 150. Then I have here minus R multiplied by 150. I have here plus 30 multiplied by 375 minus R multiplied by 375. This should be equal to 0. So I get here what now? 30 multiplied by 375 minus 30 multiplied by 150, right? This term and this term, this should be equal to R multiplied by 800, because I have here 275 R, 150 R and 375 R, whose total will come to 800. So from here I will get this R as 8.4375 kilonewtons, because this forces were in kilonewton, right? This 30 and 60 were in kilonewton, therefore this will be 8.437 kilonewton. Now once we get our R, we are done. We have solved this problem, because once we get our R, we can now easily find what are these individual forces, right? So what will be the force in now AC? The force in AC was R, right? So P in AC was R. From here, from this segment, P in AC was R. Then how much was P in CD? It was 30 plus R. So P in CD was 30 plus R. And how much was P in dB? P in dB was 30 minus R. P in dB was 30 minus R. Therefore, this will be equal to 8.4375 kilonewton. Similarly, this will be equal to 38.4375 kilonewton. So let us see how much will be this 30 minus R. So basically this will be 30 minus 8.4375, which I will get it as 21.5625 kilonewton. So I have got all the values of the individual forces, that is P in AC, P in CD, P in dB. Once I get these forces, this was one of the question which was asked to us, right? To find the reactions, to find the reactions at the two ends. So at this end, the reaction is what? So reaction at A is this R, right? So reaction, we can write this in words. Reaction at A is 8.4375 kilonewton, whereas reaction at B will be what? How much will be the reaction at B? So reaction at B is basically this 30 minus R. So this will be 30 minus R, which is nothing but 21.5625 kilonewton. So we have found our first question. We have found the solution to the first sub question. Now we need to find what? We need to find the stresses. We need to find the stresses. And how to find the stresses in each segment? It is very simple, right? Stresses, basically stress in AC will be what? It will be load in AC divided by area. And how much will be the area here? Since the diameter is 25 mm, area will be what? Pi by 4 d square, which will be pi by 4 multiplied by 25 square, which will be equal to, let us calculate and check. It will be what? Pi, this is shift pi, divided by 4, right? Pi by 4 multiplied by 25 square, right? 25 square, this comes to for 490.874. So let me write this as 490.874. So this will be basically 490.874. So this is 8.4375 multiplied by 490.874, and this stress will be equal to 17.1887 megapascal. Similarly, stress we need to find in CD. So once we find the forces in each segment, calculating stresses is not a big deal, because we know it is just what? Force, resisting force divided by area. So P in CD divided by area, which will be 38.4375. One thing I forgot here, I directly wrote this, although I directly wrote this answer, this should be multiplied by 10 to the power 3. The reason is, this is in terms of kilonewton and we need to write it in terms of Newton, and this will be in mm. So Newton per mm square, area will be in terms of mm square. So Newton per mm square will be megapascals. So similarly, this will be 38.43 multiplied by 10 to the power 3 divided by 490.874, which will be equal to 78.3042 megapascals. Now last thing is to find the stress in dB, which will be P dB divided by area, which will be nothing but 21.5625 multiplied by 10 to the power 3 divided by 490.874, and this should be 43.9268 megapascals. Okay, so we have also now found this. We have also found the stresses. Now last thing is what we need to find is change in the length of each portion. So how much will be the change in length in AC? So deformation in AC will be what? It will be force in AC multiplied by length PL divided by area, and multiplied by E. So this quantity we have already found, right? This is this. So I can directly write this as 17.1887 megapascals multiplied by length. How much is the length of AC? The length of AC is 275 mm. So 275 divided by E. E is, I think, 200 GPa, right? E is 200 GPa. So I will have to write that in terms of MPa, and in order to do that, I will have to multiply it by 10 to the power 3. And if I do this, I will get this value as 0.02363 mm. Please see here that I have directly written this value PAC by A as 17.1887, because this value was already found here. You can even write this PAC by A in terms of this here. Okay, so similarly I can find now deformation in section CD, which will be again PCD divided by A multiplied by L divided by E, and this should be AC, this should be CD. So this value we have already found it as 78.3042 multiplied by how much is the length of second segment? The length of second segment is 150. So this will be 150. This will be 150 divided by E is how much? Again same, 200 multiplied by 10 to the power 3. This value will come to around 0.05873 mm. Now last thing what we need to find is deformation in dB. Now this deformation in dB will be equal to P of dB multiplied by L of dB divided by area multiplied by E. Area multiplied by E. And this will be equal to how much? dB. This we already have, right? This is 43.9268 multiplied by what is the length of dB? Length of dB is given as 375 mm. So this will be 375 mm, 375 divided by this we have already taken care of, divided by E, which is 200 multiplied by 10 to the power 3, and this value we will get it as 0.08236 mm. So this is how we can make use of compatibility equation. This is how we can make use of compatibility equation along with our equation of equilibrium to find the values of forces, stresses and deformation in indeterminate structure. This was the one example which I wanted to explain you all. Now similarly I will solve one more example. In fact I will take two more examples. This is our second example. This is again one of the classic examples in case of indeterminate structures. We have here a bar, we have here a wire, in fact we have here four wires which are rigidly supported at fixed ends. So what I can do is I can show here a rigid supports which are rigidly fixed at its one end, and then to its other end there is one rigid bar. Here this is one rigid bar which is attached to the other ends of the wire, and then we need to basically see if the stress is not to exceed 150 megapascals. We need to find the minimum required diameter of this wires to support a load of 40 kilonewton at C. So there will be a load of 40 kilonewton here at C. So this will be the load which will be applied. A load of 40 kilonewton will be applied at C. And in that case we need to find if the stress is not to exceed 150 megapascals, what will be the diameter of this wire. Now this is again a case of indeterminate problem, and why it is indeterminate problems, let us see. Now since a load of 40 kilonewton is applied in downward direction, we know that there has to be some reaction forces which this wire will be which will be generated in these wires in the direction opposite to that of this applied load 40 kilonewton, and let those reaction forces be RA, RB, RC, RD. So from our equations of statics or equation of equilibrium, that is summation of forces in x direction equal to 0, summation of forces in y direction should be equal to 0, and summation of moment should be equal to 0. I cannot use this equation summation of forces in x direction equal to 0 because there are no forces which are acting in x direction. If this is our x and y direction, there are no forces in x direction, so there is no point in using this equation because there are no forces as such in x direction. But I can obviously use this y direction. I mean this forces in y direction equal to 0. I can use this equation. And which all forces are acting in y direction? We have here a force RB, I mean RA. We also have force RB. We also have force RC and RD. All these forces are acting in upward direction, so they are positive. Minus 40 kilonewton, which is acting in downward direction, should be equal to 0. So therefore RA plus RB plus RC plus RD, this should be equal to 40 kilonewtons. Okay, I got one equation. What will be our second equation now? In this case I can use this equation of statics or equation of equilibrium, that is summation of moments at any point. Let us say at point A. So at this point the summation of moment should be equal to 0. And if I use this equation now, which all forces will contribute to the moment at point A? There will be this force RD multiplied by the distance is x, x and x, so multiplied by 3x. So this is the moment because of this force, and the nature of this moment across this point will be in anti-clockwise direction, right? So this will be positive. Our sign conventions are moment in anti-clockwise is positive, whereas moment in clockwise we will consider it negative. Then we have this force RC, again anti-clockwise, so positive RC, and distance is perpendicular distance is 2x, x and x. Similarly, I have here one more force RB, perpendicular distance is x. There is no perpendicular distance between RA and this point A because it passes through this point A. So RA, there will be no moment because of this force RA. Okay, is that all? No, there is one more applied force, right, at point C, which will create a moment about this point A in clockwise direction. So it will be negative. So it will be minus 40 multiplied by x and x. We have 2x and this should be equal to 0. So I got this equation. Now if I rewrite this equation, what I will get? 3RD. If you see here carefully, we have here x as common. Here I have x, 2x, 3x and 4x. Everywhere in the equation I have x, so we can just remove it out. So the remaining equation will be 3 times RD plus 2 times RC plus RB will be equal to 80. This will be our second equation. So I have now here two equations with me and four unknowns. So four unknowns, we have four unknown and two equations and two equations. We have four unknowns and two equations. Since unknown number of unknowns are more than the number of equation, this is the case of indeterminate structures or indeterminate problem. So this is the case of indeterminate problem or indeterminate structures, and because of that, what we will have to do, we will have to look at the nature of this problem, I mean the nature of the deformation in this problem, and then we'll have to see how to create one more equation or how to create more equations by looking at how the deformation will occur in this problem. So for this, what I will do is I will draw the free body diagram of this structure. And if I do that, I can draw the free body diagram of this structure in this fashion, wherein these points are A, B, C and D, right? This is wire A, B, C and D. And this is the initial position of this wire. It was here. Initially, these wires were here, right, at these points. So those points I have shown here. These were the initial positions of the wire. But as we are applying the load of 40 kilonewton, what will happen is the wires will start moving down. I mean, deformation in the wire will start taking place, and slowly this rigid bar will come down. Now here the problem is this force which is acting is not exactly at the center of this rod. It is at slightly at in the right hand side of this rod, right? Because the distance this side is 2x and this side is x, so there won't be uniform deformation in this wires. If it was at the center, then the deformation in this wire, in the four wires, would have been equal. For the applied load in the center, the deformations would have been equal. But now since the deformation is on the is having some eccentricity, it is on towards the right side of the rod, what will happen is definitely the deformation in this wire will be maximum and the deformation in this wire will be minimum, which is seen here. Since the load applied is here, 40 kilonewton load is applied here, what will happen is the deformation in this wire will be maximum, in the wire D will be maximum, whereas the deformation in wire A will be minimum. The deformation in wire A is here. Let us call it as DL in A. Then how much will be the deformation, total deformation in B? How much will be this? How much will be this total deformation in B? It will be DLA. This much from here to here is DLA plus some extra deformation, and let me call that as DL. Okay, now how much will be the total deformation in C? It will be again DLA plus again some extra deformation. And since this distance from here to here, this distance is x, right? From here to here, this distance is x, and from here to here, this distance is x. Okay, since these distances are x, therefore at a distance x, if the deformation is dl, and since this is a rigid bar, at a distance of 2x, this deformation should be 2 times L, 2 times dl, because since this is at a distance x, this deformation is dl, therefore at a distance 2x, this deformation should be 2 times dl, just by using the properties of similar triangle. And similarly, because this is dl, the deformation at 3x will be 3 times dl, and of course this will be dla. Therefore what we get from here is deformation in wire A, that is dla, is same. This is the deformation in wire DL, I mean in wire A. Similarly, the deformation in wire B, from here we come to know that it will be what, DLA. From here to here is DLA plus some extra deformation DL. Similarly, how much will be the deformation in wire C? The deformation in wire C will be DLA. From here to here it is DLA plus it is this much, so this is 2 times DL. Similarly, the deformation in last wire D will be again DLA plus 3 times DL. Okay, so this is all about the deformations. These equations we have got by looking at the nature of the deformation in this problem, and therefore we can call this kind of problems, I mean this kind of equation, as compatibility equation, because we have framed this equation by looking at the nature of deformation in this problem. Initially this rod was here, but as we started applying force, it got tilted slightly, and it resulting in the deformation in wires. And the deformation in wires will not be same, but it will be the maximum deformation will be in wire D, which will be DLA plus 3DL, and the minimum deformation will be in the wire A, which is DLA, which we have assumed. Okay, so after this, let us see how much resisting forces will be developed, how these resisting forces will be with respect to each other. Now let us say the resisting force developed for this deformation in wire A as RA. Let RA be the resisting force developed in order to resist the deformation of DLA. Then how much is the deformation in wire, I mean in wire DLB, in wire D, I mean in wire B, the deformation is how much? That is DLA plus extra deformation DL, right? The deformation in wire B is how much? DLA plus some extra deformation DL. Therefore, the resisting force in wire B should be how much? This should be RA, which is the resisting force to resist DLA, plus some extra deformation, I mean plus some extra resisting force to resist this extra deformation DL. Now similarly, the resisting force in RC, the resisting force in RC in C should be how much? It will be this, right? How much would have been deformation in wire C? It would be RA plus 2 times DL, right? It is DLA plus 2 times DL. So similarly, the resisting force will be for DLA, we know that it is RA, plus it is now for DL, we said that the extra resisting force, let it be R. So for 2 times DL, the resisting force will be 2 times R. It will be proportional to the deformation. Similarly, for RD, the reaction force will be RA plus, in for this 3 times DL, it will be 3 times R. Alright, now this is what we will be using in our equation. This, how we have got this? We have got this by compatibility equation, and I will call this as my equation 3. So I have got now 3 equations. I have got this equation solely by using compatibility equation, and this equation has nothing to do with equation of statics, right? So I got this equation just by using compatibility equation. Now I'll be using this equation 3 in equation 1 and equation 2. Let us first use this equation 3 in 1. So using equation 3 in 1, we get, what was our equation 1? RA plus RB plus RC plus RD equal to 40. So therefore, we had this equation 1 as RA plus RB plus RC plus RD as 40. So but what is RA? RA from equation 3, RA is just RA, resisting force in wire A, plus RB, we have it as RA plus RA plus RC is RA plus 2R, and RD is how much? RA plus 3 times R, and this should be equal to 40 kilonewton. So from here I get this as 4 times RA plus 6 times R is equal to 40 kilonewton. Let me write this as our equation, say out after 3 I will call this as equation 4. Now similarly, now what I will do, I use this equation 3 once in equation 1, right? Now I will use this equation using equation 3 in what? In 2. So let us use this equation 3 in our equation 2. This was our equation 2. 3 times RD. So 3 times RD. How much is RD? It is RA plus 3R, right? RD is how much? RA plus 3R plus 2 times RC, right? Plus it is how much? 2 times RC. So how much is RC? RC is RA plus 2R plus R plus RB. How much is RB? It is RA plus R. So RA plus R, and this should be equal to how much? It should be equal to our equation number 2. It should be equal to 80. So this will give us 80. Now let us simplify this. This will be what? 3 times RA plus 9 times R plus 2 times RA plus 4 times R plus RA plus R. This should be equal to 80. So I have here how many R's now? 9 plus 4 is 13 plus 1 is 14. So we have here 14 R, and how many RAs we have? 3 plus 2 is 5 plus 1 is 6. So we have 6 RA plus 14R equal to 80, and this, let it be our equation 5. So we have now equation 4 and equation 5. So from equation 4 and 5 we can solve this equation simultaneously, equation 4 and 5. We should be able to find the value of R and RA. So therefore we'll get the values of R as 4 kilonewton and RA as also 4 kilonewton. So I got R as 4 kilonewton, I also got RA as 4 kilonewton. Okay, now once I get these reaction forces, once I get these values, finding the reaction forces will be very easy. I got RA as 4 kilonewton, R as also 4 kilonewton. So therefore, RA will be how much? RA I got it as 4 kilonewton. So how much will be RB? RB is what? RA plus R, which is nothing but 4 plus 4, 8 kilonewton. Then how much will be RC now? RC will be 4 plus 2 times 4, so 8. So this will be 12 kilonewton. And how much will be RD now? RD will be 4 plus 12, which will be 16 kilonewton. So basically I got this reaction forces as RA I got it as how much? 4 kilonewton. RB I got it as 8 kilonewton. This I got it as 12 kilonewton. And finally RD I got it as how much? I got it as 16 kilonewton. So 16 plus 4 is 20 and 12 plus 8 is 20. So totally 40 kilonewton has been balanced. So once I get this reaction force, I can very easily find the required diameter of this wire. But now in order to find this, in order to use this formula, stress is P by A, the stress will be 150. Area is what we need to find, so we need to find what is the diameter. But which load we will consider here, whether we will consider this 4, 8, 12 or 16. We cannot consider this load because this is the applied load, but stress is what? Resisting force per unit area. So here the resisting forces in each wire are different. So which resisting force we will consider? Whether we will consider the minimum resisting force or maximum resisting force. See, we need to basically find the diameter of the wire which will be able to resist these forces, and all the wires are identical. That means all the diameters will be same. So we cannot really design this wire considering the minimum force, because what will happen if we consider the minimum force, we might get a small diameter, and that diameter later on may not be able to withstand the 16 kilonewton load. But if we take the higher load to design the diameter, if we take the higher load, what will happen? The diameter which we get for higher load, obviously it will be able to withstand this lower load as well. So always while designing, consider the maximum load which the material will be subjected to. The maximum load it will be subjected to is 16 kilonewton. Therefore, let us consider that load to determine the diameter. So we know that stress is P by A. We have the stress as 150 megapascals, right? The stress shouldn't exceed 150 megapascals, and the maximum load is 16 kilonewton. For 16 kilonewton load multiplied by 10 to the power 3 will give me in Newton. So for 16 kilonewton load, we need to find the diameter in which the value of stress will not exceed 150 megapascal. So from here, I will get this diameter as 11.6538, and units will be mm. So this is how we can solve the indeterminate structure problems by considering two kind of equations which we get from using equations of equilibrium, and then also we'll have to frame the equations with the help of compatibility equation. Let us consider one more example. In fact, this will be the last example under this topic. It is indeterminate structure. Again, there are three wires which are fixed at one end, and the other end of this wire meets at this point O, and at this point a load of 20 kilonewton has been applied. Okay, now in this case, how this is a indeterminate structure? Because what will happen here is, now this load will have to be resisted by these three wires, right? So the resisting force here in this case, this will be the resisting force. Let us call it as RA. Let this resisting force be RB and this resisting force be RC. Now how many equations of equilibrium we know? We know equation of equilibrium as summation of forces in x direction should be equal to 0, summation of forces in y direction should be equal to 0, and then also the summation of moment should be equal to 0. Now if again this is my x and y axis, I cannot use this equation. The reason is there are no forces in x direction. What about the summation of forces in y direction equal to 0? Yes, we can use this equation, right? Summation of forces in y direction will be equal to 0. But again, I cannot use this equation, summation of moment equal to 0, because all the forces they pass through the same point. So there is no question of any moment which will be generated here. So I cannot use this equation, I cannot use this equation. I have only one equation. And if I try to use this equation now, summation of forces in y direction equal to 0, which all forces are acting in y direction? There is this force P which is going in downward direction, so it will be minus P. There is one force RB going in upward direction, so it will be RB. Then this RA is not going in upward direction as such. It has a its component is going in upward direction. So if this is 60 degrees, this will be 30 degrees. So which is the what component of RA will be going in upward direction? It is the cos component of RA which will be going in upward direction. So basically the force which will be going in upward direction is RA multiplied by cos of 30. Similarly, the RA multiplied by RC multiplied by cos of 30 will be going in upward direction. So this will be RC multiplied by cos of 30, and this should be equal to 0. This is what I get from this equation. I hope you all have understood this. If I draw the free body diagram, RA is going this side, right? And this is 30 degrees. So the upward component or the vertical component of RA will be RA cos 30. For this RC also it will be RC cos 30. But from here we know that by looking at the geometry, we also know that RA should be equal to RC, because the geometry, because of the symmetric geometry, and the load is also applied at the center. So whatever happens in RA, same thing will happen in wire C. Whatever happens in wire A, same thing will happen in wire C, because they are identical wire. That means their diameters are same, material properties same, even the geometry or the structure is symmetric. So this RA force has to be equal to RC force. And then if I use this equation here, I will get this as what? I will get this as RB plus 2 times RA cos 30 will be equal to P. So I got this one equation by using the equation of equilibrium. Let me call this as equation 1. Okay, I got this one equation, but how many unknowns do I have? I have two unknowns, right? So I have two unknowns, and how many equations I have? I have only one equation. So since two unknowns and one equation, this kind of problems will be called as indeterminate problems, or the structure will be called as indeterminate structure. So what do we do now? Since we have two unknowns and only one equation, take the help of compatibility equation. And how do I do that? How do I take the help of compatibility equation? By looking at the nature of deformation. For that, what I will do, I have drawn the same wires again here, which are fixed here at this end. Now when the force will be applied at this point O, when the force will be applied at this point O, what will happen is there has to be certain deformations here. There will be certain deformation. So this O will move to O dash after the application of force P, that is 20 kilonewton. Point O will move to O dash. This because there will be extension in this wire BO, and therefore O will move to O dash. And simultaneously, since there is extension in this wire BO, there has to be also the extension in wire AO. Therefore this AO will reach here somewhere, right? AO, the wire AO, let me draw it again. The wire AO will go to AO dash after deformation, after applying this load. And then if I drop here one perpendicular, if I drop here one perpendicular like this, and let me call this as now A dash. So this is my A dash, this is O, this is O dash, and let us draw this now separately here. I will just increase the size of this triangle A dash O O dash. Basically it is same triangle, but let me just draw a bigger triangle so that we can analyze everything very nicely. So this is our A dash point, this is our O dash, and this is our O. This is 90 degree. And since this was 60 degree, how much will be this angle? It will be 30 degrees. Now we know that we deal only under we deal in the deformations only under elastic limit, right? Only up to this point we deal with the deformation. So up to this point the deformations are very small. In this case, since the deformations are small, this angle will be approximately equal to this angle, that is 30 degrees, and therefore I can say that this angle is 30 degrees and this will be then 60. And why I can assume that this angle will be also 30 degrees? Because basically our deformations will be very small in our problems here in this course. In the entire course of MSolve, the deformations will be always very small. Now what do I get from here? I can say that O dash O dash times cos of 30 will be equal to what? Will be equal to A dash O dash, right? A dash O dash will be nothing but what? O dash cos 30, because this is basically the projection of O dash, right? So therefore A dash O dash will be nothing but O dash cos of 30. So from here what do I get? If I rewrite this equation again, I will get O dash is equal to A dash O dash divided by cos of 30. But what is O dash? O dash is nothing but deformation of wire what? Which deformation? O dash is the deformation of wire BO, right? Deformation of wire BO. And what is A dash O dash? A dash O dash is what? Deformation of wire AO, right? A dash O dash is deformation of wire AO. Therefore, how can we write that this deformation of wire BO? We know that we write deformation as PL by AE. But how much is the force in the wire BO? The force in wire BO is RB, right? So I will write this as RB multiplied by length is how much? Length of the wire OB is, I will write this as length length of wire BO divided by area of wire BO multiplied by E of BO, and this will be equal to resisting force in wire A multiplied by length of wire AO divided by area of wire AO multiplied by E of wire AO, and this multiplied by, we also have here one more term, cos of 30. But this area of BO and E of BO will be equal to A of wire A, area of wire A, and E of wire A. So these are basically the equal terms, so I can just cancel them out. The reason is it is made up, they are identical wire and it is made up of same wire of diameter 6 mm. So therefore the areas will be same, even Young's modulus is same. I can just cancel this out. So what is remained with me is resisting force in wire B multiplied by length of wire B is equal to resisting force in wire A multiplied by length of wire A divided by cos of 30. Now is there any relationship between length of wire BO and length of wire AO? I know that length of wire BO is 4 meter. Then how much will be the length of wire AO? We know that BO will be nothing but AO cos of 30, right? The cos 30 component of this AO will be BO. Therefore, how much will be AO? AO will be what? BO divided by cos of 30. So this is what we will be substituting now. AO is BO divided by cos of 30. The reason is BO is nothing but AO cos of 30. The cos component of this AO will be BO. Therefore, AO is equal to BO divided by cos of 30. So length of AO will be what? Length of BO divided by cos of 30, and we already had 1 cos 30 here, so that also I will have to write. And then finally I can just cancel this out, right? Length of BO. So finally I get RB as RA divided by cos of 30 whole square. And what is cos of 30 whole square? It will be, 1 divided by cos 30 square will be approximately equal to 0.75, and this will be resisting force in wire A. So resisting force in B, basically we got it as 0.75 times resisting force in wire A. So how we got this equation? We got this equation by looking at the nature of deformation, and by looking at the nature of deformation we got this equation. So basically this is our compatibility equation. This is our compatibility equation, because we obtained this equation by looking at the deformation in this wire, by looking at the nature of deformation in this wire. So we got this resisting force as this from equation 2, and from equation 1 we had this equation. So if I just copy this equation again and write it here and paste it here, so this is our equation 1, right? This is our equation 1, and here I have equation 2. So if I just substitute this RB in this equation, then I can easily find what will be RA. So RA will be equal to 8.0579 kilonewton. How I got this? I substituted the value of RB in this equation. This P we know, right? P is 40 multiplied by 10 to the power 3 Newton, or 40 kilonewton, because that is what is given to us. P is how much? P is 40 kilonewton, which is given to us. P is 20 kilonewton. P is 20 kilonewton, which is given to us. So this will be, the value of P will be 20 kilonewton. And then if you substitute RB as 0.75 times RA, we will only have one unknown, that is RA, and that we get it as 8.0579 kilonewton. Now similarly, if I substitute this value of RA here, I will get the value of RB, and value of RB will be 6.0434 kilonewton. So I got the value of RA and RB. Value of RA and RB I got. So once I get this, that means since RA was equal to RC, I even got this value. I got the value of RA as how much? I got the value of RA as 8.0579, whereas the value of RB which we got was 6.0434, and RC will be also equal to this. Then what we need to find? We found the forces in each wire, that we did. Now we also want to find the vertical displacement. Vertical displacement is basically this length O dash. This is the vertical displacement, because O, it go vertically, it comes down from O to O dash. So O dash is what they are asking us. This vertical displacement is nothing but length of O dash, and we know that O dash was how much? O dash was this quantity. So if I just substitute this value, RB multiplied by length of B, RB multiplied by length of B divided by area of B multiplied by E of B, O dash is nothing but the vertical deflection. So resistance, the reaction force in wire B is 6.0434 multiplied by length was 4 meter, right? So I will have to convert this into mm. And also this value also I will have to convert it into Newton. So this is in terms of Newton. So I have multiplied by 10 to the power 3, and then multiplied by 4 into 10 to the power 3 divided by area. Area will be pi by 4 multiplied by d square. What is the diameter of this wire? Diameter of this wire is 6 mm. So this will be 6 square, right? Pi by 4 d square multiplied by what is E, Young's modulus of wire B. Young's modulus of wire B is 210 GPa. So it is 210 multiplied by 10 to the power 3 MPa. So now this is in terms of Newton, this is in terms of meter, this is in terms of mm square, and this is in terms of megapascals, which is again Newton per mm square. So finally I will get this O dash as 4.2748 mm. Quite a large deformation, right? 4 mm deformation. So this is the vertical deformation of this wire. So this is how we can use the equations, I mean equations from the compatibility equation along with the equations of statics to find the forces in the members, to find the forces in indeterminate structures, to find forces as well as displacements in the indeterminate structure.